Hey, do you think we should do a cleanse? This is what my partner asked me in the kitchen yesterday, which I kind of thought was funny because he is the least likely person to adopt these kinds of health and lifestyle habits. So when he asked me this question, I was like, what are you even asking me, dude? Like, where are you coming from? But he was asking a legitimate question. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to get in YouTube and talk about the fad of cleansing, or is it a fad, and detoxes and how they can or cannot fit into your life in menopause or even your life in general. I think this is going to be a fun discussion because I come at this from the non-diet approach where all detoxes are scams. And I also have a background in, believe it or not, weight loss and wellness when I first started out in holistic nutrition, and also in the functional nutrition space, thinking about mold detox. And I've had mold in my home as well. So I want to see if I can meld these thoughts together and help you understand that there are different thoughts about detox, and some of them can be dangerous, but for some people, a certain type of detox might help enhance their life. And I'll probably get some flack for that, but I really want to put this out there. And now this isn't to say that I'm telling you to go and have a cleanse or get on a cleanse. In fact, there are many kinds of cleanses, many kinds of detoxes, and they can be really dangerous. And there's reasons why people do them, but one of them is to lose weight. Now, that's not the type of thing that I stand behind. I still really feel strongly about the non-diet approach, but I have a few different ideas that I'm starting to bring to the table when it comes to like living a balanced life. Because when I am aging, it's not like a when, it's as I age, but as I age, I really think about those things like health and balance and joy and how can they all fit together. And so in this video, let's talk about whether or not cleanses, detoxes are a worthwhile thing. What exactly are they? And I'm going to give you some questions you can ask yourself when you start to scroll the internet or you're up late on Instagram and all of these really sexy cleanses are flying by your face and you're like, I think I want to buy that. If you're new here, hello, my name is Tanya. And if you are not new, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming to another video. Would you please subscribe to my channel if you find my content worthwhile? I talk about health, I talk about wellness, but I like to come at it from a balanced approach. I also like to talk about some of the things that go through my mind as I'm approaching 60 and the last sort of chapter of my life. Cleansing, detoxing. What exactly is this? In the non-diet world, it is said that we don't need to detox. Our body detoxes all day long, 24/7. There's no need to push the process. And on some level, I totally agree with this. We have a liver, we have lungs, we have kidneys, we have a lymph system. We have ways that filter out toxins. If you have mucus in your nose, that grabs toxins in the air, airborne bacteria, virus, etc., and it gets trapped in the mucus and you blow it out into your Kleenex. When you eat, if you eat bacteria, if your stomach acid is great, it's going to kill bacteria in your food and pass it through the gut out into the toilet, no problem. So yes, we have a whole set of mechanisms to help us detox. When you're breathing out, you're getting rid of waste products. And when you're breathing in, you're taking in things your body needs. So there is a set of mechanisms that helps us detox. That I totally agree with. But the one thing I think about, especially when it comes to like how the liver works, you look up the literature and there's specific vitamins you need for liver detox. There is genetic components to liver detox. And so if your diet doesn't have an abundance, maybe not even an abundance, but a balance of these things, well, does that not mean your detox processes, your natural ones, can go awry? And if you're not getting in enough water, I've talked about that here on this channel already. If you're not getting in enough water, well, then your lymph system, your liver, your kidneys, your detox processes can go awry too. Things get too concentrated. You can't eliminate them. And if you're not eating enough fiber, your digestive system, which is a detox process, is not going to have stuff to cling onto to push into the toilet as poop with that water. And well, your detox processes could go awry. So this is one area that I hear that like our bodies work 24/7. They naturally detox us. Yes, they do. But we can have balance or imbalance in the phases of liver detox. We may not have enough antioxidants. So the basic thing to me is like, yeah, okay, but we need some good nutrition to help those processes. So if we don't have a general balanced diet, well, we aren't feeding those detox processes. And that's what I'm getting at. Now, I don't mean that you can't enjoy certain things. Everybody is different. If you see some of my other videos on here where I'm talking about balanced blood sugar, I mean, my mom could eat chocolate 24/7. She never had a blood sugar issue a day in her life. So if you're thinking about going on a detox, these are the questions I want you to think about. What is this detox? Like, where is it coming from? Is it something you're buying off the internet? Did you get a book out of the library? Did you buy it at the local bookstore? And what is entailed in this detox? And the practice of detox is not new. Detox belongs to many different cultures. And I think some of these things kind of get lumped together, like fasting, detox, juice cleanses. Even the topic of drainage gets lumped into detox. If you don't know what drainage is, pop a comment below. I can talk to you about that. It's a holistic health term that kind of goes along with detox. But these thoughts of cleaning out the body are not new, and they're practiced in many cultures. But I think the diet culture place is where people are latching onto a detox because it is a promise of weight loss. And it can be dangerous. You can lose a lot of water. You cannot feed your brain certain amounts of nutrients if you're going on these really restrictive weight loss detoxes, juice fasts, and cleanses. Some people feel great on them. Some people do them for spiritual practice. And that is one of the things I'd like you to ask yourself, like, what am I looking for when I want to go on a cleanse? So when the man said, why don't we try a cleanse? I'm like, you can try a cleanse. But I also asked him, like, what are you looking for? And he said, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I eat too much, or I'm gaining weight, or I just don't feel healthy. And maybe that'll kickstart a health habit for me, or a healthy life for me. I think that part about kickstart could have some validity. I've heard this before where women are saying like they feel like they're in a rut, they're not exercising, they're not drinking enough water. Maybe if they do a detox, it gets them in the mindset, or cleanse, it gets them in the mindset of feeling healthier. And so I thought, okay, you know what, maybe that does have some merit, as long as I said it's not like too restrictive, too diet culture-y, you're counting calories, you're trying to lose 10 pounds in 3 days, because like we know that's not realistic. And we also know that, some of us are taking medication and you need to take that with food. And when you really restrict your protein, we're going to lose muscle mass, and we need protein for our muscles, our bones, our brains, etc. But if your thought process is that you want to kickstart a better habit, maybe if you're the type of person that can change in 3 days, this might work for you. But I think the problem with some of these things is that we hinge our behavior change on the act of the cleanse or the 3-day detox, when really behavior is so ingrained. We need to become aware of our impulsive habits, whether it is impulsively switching on the TV, impulsively watching too much YouTube when you're supposed to be sleeping, overeating without being mindful about what's going in our mouths. So I think sometimes wanting this, like, it's almost like quick fix habit change, just doesn't work when we're not aware of our own self and our own habits. And that brings me to the other thing that he said, maybe it'll help me start to lose weight. Yeah, maybe. But again, at what cost? At what cost? When we miss putting food into our stomach, fiber from those juices, we miss feeding our good gut bacteria. We miss helping make solid poop. That is a huge, huge part of the detox process, the elimination pathway of the body. So going on a juice fast without fiber could also like have you taking in too much sugar if your blood sugar is off from just fruit juices. That's the thing. Like, a lot of people think a juice fast is great because they could do like apple and maybe some lemon and kiwi and grape and raspberry. And for some people, they might be sensitive. They're missing the protein and the fat and the fiber to help with digestion and slowing down blood sugar. And that might be a bit of a reach. I don't know if like juice it. Well, I actually shouldn't say that. There are people who can drink orange juice and then their blood sugar spikes. So the juice thing, if it's not veggie juice, could not be so great for you. Now here's where it gets a little sticky wicky. There are people who have mold in their home and have mold illness. Now, this isn't a thing that's always front and center in the medical community. Mold is said to cause allergies, sinus congestion, breathing issues. But I've met many people, friends included, who are having some real health struggles when it comes to what they think is mold. Should they go on a crazy mold detox willy-nilly and order that off the internet? No, they probably should get some professional help or really start to understand how mold affects certain people in the population, not everybody. So someone like myself has been allergy tested for certain kinds of airborne molds. I'm very sensitive to mold. And when I see water in my home, I kind of lose my mind. This is where supporting the liver, supporting your drainage pathways, making sure you're hydrated, making sure you're not stressed can be part of enhancing your body's natural detox processes. And now there are many mold protocols out there, books on mold, stuff you'll find here on YouTube about detoxing from mold, using anything from herbs to probiotics as binders in the gut. I mean, that's another part of supporting your detox pathway of your digestion. But everything is different for everybody. If you want to read about mold toxicity, this book, Toxic by Neil Nathan, MD, Heal Your Body, it's excellent. I have it out because this friend of mine who's concerned about mold in her home has a lot of health issues, got a lot of mold in her home. So you might find this really interesting, but it is not a detox protocol. And that's another thing that I asked my partner, like, what do you want to cleanse from? Because if you feel like you're eating too many potato chips or you've had too much beer, you don't need a cleanse for that. You need to maybe cut back on the potato chips and eat more fruit and veg. You maybe need to cut back on the beer and have some more green tea or water. You don't need a cleanse for that. Just pulling back some of these processed foods, alcohol can give your liver a break, give it some different hydration, and help your own natural processes, enhance them to do their job in a natural, healthy way. I do find the topic of liver detox, of detox in general, fascinating when it comes to something like mold, but even how the liver needs certain B vitamins, amino acids, glutathione. I really find it interesting in how that works. And this is where my opinions about detox can be on the fence. But I mean, liver detoxes, they're not for everybody. I've had liver issues myself where I was cautioned against going on a liver detox and stimulating too much bile. Again, you have health issues, you have to really think about these things. And that's another question you can ask yourself. Do I have health issues? Do I have health issues? And is this actually safe for me? That is really important. And I don't think it's just as we age. When I think of someone like my daughter who's 24, doing a cleanse for weight loss, what is she doing to her body and what is she doing to her mental health if she is going on this cleanse with the sole purpose of losing weight fast and quickly? And what is she setting her body up for? What are we all setting our body up for when we go on to a cleanse to lose weight? Over time, you can change the set point in your brain of how much weight your body feels like it needs to have on you. And you can even mess up your thyroid with all of this yo-yo cleansing, because it's kind of like yo-yo dieting. Let's discuss this in the comments. What do you think about cleanses and detoxes? And do you think they have a place in your life? And if so, why? Is it because you want to lose weight? If so, you might really need to rethink that. Is it because you want to kickstart a habit? If so, maybe this will be something supportive for you, but make sure you have a longer term plan for habit change if you think that a cleanse is the beginning of doing something different in your lifestyle. I'm going to leave you with this. I think the first place you should start with if you are thinking of doing a cleanse is looking at the life you have now, the life you lead now. Do you drink enough water? Do you sleep enough? Do you get enough fiber? Do you have good relationships? Are you on your screens too much? That is really important because people actually get so hooked on cleanses and detoxes that they have a lot of eating disorders developed just from that. So there's lots of basics you can look at in your lifestyle. If you're not getting enough veggies, start there. If you're not getting enough fiber, start there. Protein, I have videos on that. I'll link those in the description below. Assess yourself first. Assess the environment that you're in. If you are concerned with your home environment, go find a professional, get some testing of your home done, and start to read up on that. And you'll form your own decisions of whether or not you think you need something like this. But just please, I don't think we all should be adopting cleanses willy-nilly for habit change and for weight loss. Like anything, lifestyle matters to a degree. These things can also get really costly. You can add more fiber to your life and up your vegetable intake with frozen food at the grocery store. This was really impromptu. I hope it made sense, and I hope to see you again and hear what you're thinking in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.